Alright, everybody. We're going to go right down to Madison, Georgia. Go to Amici Cafe. They got awesome wings and pizza, craft beers. Where's Czech? We're wearing a Cortina DS Podium GMT quartz version. Alright, we're taking the ZX10. We got new tires on. Cameron is on his new Speed Triple 1200 RS. Jonathan's on his new bike that we picked up yesterday. He is on the little brother of this. So this is a 24 ZX10. He's got the 25 ZX6R in a really cool paint scheme. A cool paint. The 24 C8 in cacti green, which means seafoam, but they wanted to sound more posh. That bike is a fucking brute, man. So much fun. Alright, let's let Johnny get his shit together. Unbelievable. This guy.
I made the mistake to talk to him.
Might have to. Like, dude, get your shit together. Watch him drop it right into my car. So, a little cool out today. Had to switch to my winter jacket. 68. It's about as warm. Well, no, it's not 68 yet. That's because the ambient temperature heat rising off the motor. That'll go down once we get rolling. So, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about tires. Gonna do a little blogging or vlogging about the nature of the YouTubes and little angry viewer mail. Oh, this bike is so stupid, but it's fun. So, alright, we'll get this one right out of the way. This is the nature of just being a content creator. Now, I love to argue and debate people. It's in my nature. My wife will tell you I will sit there and argue with a tree stump. But I like to think that I bring not just my opinion, but I like to bring facts, examples. I don't typically just go, you're wrong. I try to be like, well, you're wrong, and here's why. Here's the statistic on that. Here's the annual report from this. Here's what the FBI crime stats say that are online and public information. Like, you know, I try to bring something to the table. I don't expect anyone to just take whatever I say as gospel. We all have opinions, but opinions can be based on facts. But even then, you know, you can show two different people the same data and draw two conclusions. And sometimes, you know, that's whatever. But other times, it's like if you're talking about a crime stat, or if you're talking about, well, you know, I'm not going to get all political, but someone say, well, the rich need to pay their fair share. Rich got to start paying taxes. It's like, well, they do. Not only do the rich pay taxes, they pay the majority of the income taxes. The IRS puts out the data every year. And while they don't talk about it as much, you can find it even on CNN and MSNBC. You get it on Motley Fool, USA Today, Market Watch, Wall Street Journal. I mean, it's undeniable. People will go around and say it because, you know, it fits their political narrative. But that's a case of where, you know, I guess it's not a case of two people looking at the same data. The reason they're saying that is because they're not looking at the actual data and the breakdown that the 1% pays almost 50% of the entire tax burden for the entire country. And the bottom 50%, the bottom half of the country, typically where the person you're arguing with resides, pays 2%, a combined. The whole half of the country pays a combined 2.3% of the federal tax bill. So the people complaining the most about other people not paying, are they themselves the ones that pay the least or don't pay any? That would be, you know, but they'll be passionate, but they won't bring facts to the table, and that's the difference. They'll just tell you, and they'll just repeat it and go, "Oh, you're a shill. You're sucking off faux news, man." It's like, no, dummy. Like, we can have opinions about abortion or areas that are more open to interpretation of when does life begin, and some doctors say this and some doctors say that. That you can do that all day long, and who's to say who's right and who's wrong, right? But when you're talking about something finite, like who pays what taxes, it's all federally regulated and reported on data. And we know that the rich pay the most. So you saying that, I'm going to tell you you're wrong, but I'm not just going to say you're wrong. I'm going to bury you under an avalanche of links, and I'm not even going to use Fox News. I'm not going to use Trump or Elon. I'm going to use your own news sources so that you can't just dismiss me out of hand. Well, that's just Fox News. No, this is the IRS themselves. This is H&R Block. This is everybody. The only people saying otherwise are activists who've never read the stuff. And so I don't mind debates. Fine with it. It's fun. I don't want a bunch of yes men. I say something. I mean, how boring is that? I believe this, and everybody there goes, "Yeah, me too." Okay, now what? Like, where do you go from there? There's no engagement. There's no follow-up. So to me, I'd almost rather debate somebody and talk to someone who does not agree with me. Oh, I love the way these new tires turn in. Nice. But there's a way to do it, and it's like, it's not even, oh, you should be respectful. I don't care. I can be rude and abrasive. I have thick skin. People think that because I argue a point that, oh, I must be all angry. No, I can sit there and have a lively debate and type up 6 pages because I type really, really fast. And I can knock out that post in, a minute and a half. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're all worked up, and you sat there for hours type. It's like, dude, look at when you responded, and I responded within 2 minutes. Like, it didn't take me very long. I have a quick mind. I try to stay up on a lot of facts, and I'm good at research and pulling up stats and information, and I type really fast. Whether you agree with my stance or not is irrelevant. But I will never expect someone to say, well, because Dave from Dave's Man Cave said so, it must be so. I would never expect anybody to ever take what I say at face value. I like to give examples. I like to pull up stats. I like to pull up reports and hard data that says, yes, I feel this way. Yes, this is my opinion, but here's why. Here is the facts and the logical progression that led me down the path to come to this conclusion, so that maybe you can look at it and go, oh, okay, that actually makes sense. I can see where you're coming from that. And so I expect other people in kind, to do the same in return. That's such a pretty color. It's a matte metallic orange. And it's idiotic. So anyway, so I made a video, and actually it's been one of my most popular videos in like 2 years. It got damn near 5,000 views in just a couple days, and 100 and something comment. Like, no, I'm not pulling Mr. Beast numbers. All right, let's be clear. I'm not getting ahead of myself here. But it's been a very popular video, and it was about my watch journey. And I've been doing a lot of watch reviews because I just think they're interesting, and trying to build a collection and figure out what do I want my watch collection to be when I grow up, and I've learned some things, and then I was trying to be a bit looking inward at what I've done and why I did it, and has that helped me on my journey, or has it hurt me on my journey and where it is I want to be? Was I going down the right path? And I concluded that I've not. So I titled a video, How to Not Build a Watch Collection. Here's the common traps that I myself fell into, and I'm sure others have as well. And by the 99% of the people who agree with me in the comments, they can relate. But there's always got to be one or two guys. Your collection sucks. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of the point of the video, right? I mean, I said, don't be like Dave. Here's what I did. Here's why it's wrong. I'm making fun of myself. I'm not saying my collection's awesome. This was not a flex. It's very clearly not a flex. I'm saying I've been a bit silly in my choices and kind of wasteful with my money, to the point that the kind of collection I actually really want, this has set that back. And so maybe here's some advice to not do what I did. It's easy to fall into the trap of, go watch the video and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I get these hate mail from people. And it's only been like 2 people. Like, your collection's crap. You need to get better pieces. Yeah. Did you not watch the video? Did you not read the fucking title? Like, that's... Well, I'm just saying, you... Okay. What now? Well, it's stupid and you've been a retard with... You should have done... Again, yeah. That's exactly what I should have done. That's the advice and the conclusion. And what I'm urging other people to do is do the opposite of what I did and do the things. It's like, some people just want to argue, but he's arguing by telling me my own argument. And I'm like, I didn't make a video of how to do a watch collection. Do what I did. I was very clear in the title and all throughout the video of all the things that I did wrong and that you might want to consider, so that you also don't waste tens of thousands of dollars when that money could have been spent getting you a much smaller but much more high quality collection. It's like, we're not arguing. Like, I'm looking at this like, what's your point? Like, and I feel like on the other end of the internets here, I'm dealing with someone who's on the spectrum, or I'm dealing with that guy. There's people that like to argue, and I do. I love debate. I love the exchange of ideas. Occasionally, believe it or not, I actually change my mind. But you have to make a compelling argument. You have to bring facts. You can't just say, well, you're wrong because I said you're wrong, and just keep repeating that. You're not going to win hearts and minds. You're not going to sway my opinion by just yelling. Nobody's ever won an argument by yelling. But you get these people who critique your video, and it's like, dude, I have thick skin. If I was all ego-driven and couldn't take criticism, I wouldn't put these videos out. I would script my videos. I would produce them better. When I find myself making verbal typos, or I say the incorrect thing, or I fuck something up and it's a blooper, I leave all of that stuff in. The only time I ever remove content from my videos are when I'm riding and we're up in the mountains tearing it up, and then I get stuck behind a wall of traffic and it takes me 12 minutes to get a space to pass them. I'm like, I'm not going to make you sit there watching me for 12 minutes with no action and just me getting enraged. Like, that's not probably fun. It wasn't fun for me. It's probably not fun for you to watch it. But I screw up in videos and say the wrong thing. I've got 50 things in my mind. I don't care. This is just me. I'm having fun with something. This is not my full-time job. I'm doing it for fun. I'm growing an audience. Pretty soon I'll be up at 10,000 subscribers. Make a few $100 a month currently. It's nothing. It's less than I make in a day at work. But, it's a hobby. And maybe it'll grow into something. And maybe by the time I'm ready to retire, I've got 100,000 subscribers and I got $1,500 or something coming in a month. All right, well, add that into, 401k and a pension and Social Security, and, maybe that helps, and I've got $10,000, $12,000 a month coming in between all my stuff going into retirement. This will be extra money. Whatever. So install that. Of course, it's the Harley. Womp womp. So, Yeah, it's like I just see. I welcome the comments, and believe it or not, and here's the thing, I like debates. It's more clicks. Every time you come back to post some other, rant or tell me that I'm stupid, all right, Dave just made another 3 cents off of ad revenue. Like you're not. And I don't say things to be controversial. There's a lot of things I could say and do with my channel that would probably get me more views. I'm conservative on most things, and that hurts my channel. I could be fake and post anti-Trump and Musk stuff, and my views would go way up. But I'm not going to sell out like that because it's not me. I don't believe it. I like debate, but just going, you're stupid. There's certain people on the internet that are just trolls. They just throw their opinion out. They just regurgitate a kind of canned response. And I'm sure if I followed somebody around, they'd probably do the same thing on every other channel. And there are people that probably consider themselves, I'm just brutally honest. I tell it like it is. You've all met that guy. I just tell it like it is, and most people can't handle that. No, that's not true. Anybody can handle you being a dick. Most people just don't like you being a dick, and that's why you don't have a lot of friends, and your coworkers kind of look at you funny, and it's not because everybody else is too weak to handle you and your opinions and the truth. That's not what it is. So go ahead and agree or disagree. Let's chat. It gives me something to do. I'm sitting there watching TV at night. I got my MacBook up, going through the comments, replying to people, getting back to people, whatever. But if I'm coming in saying, look, my watch collection is all wrong. I did this wrong. I fucked up and wasted a lot of money when I could have thought about it maybe better and had the kind of collection that I truly want. And you come in and you're like, your collection's stupid. Yeah, I just said that, dummy. Like you're not. There's an episode, and I think I love Family Guy for references because so many of them are just on point. They're very good observations on culture and human nature at times. But there was an episode about something where what's his face, Quagmire's like, I'm never doing that again, and then Joe's like, good, don't. Like, I just said I wasn't going to. Good, don't. And Quagmire's getting annoyed, like, Joe, I would never do that. I just said I wouldn't do that. You don't have to tell me not to do something I already said I'm never going to do. All right, then. Don't. That's all I could think about watching this retard sit there and try to argue with me and tell me that my watch collection's all wrong and I did it wrong and I'm a goober. And yeah, way to get the point of the video. It's in the title. Dumbass. I agree with you. Why are you triggered and hostile and going on the attack to tell me what I've already told the entire world by putting the damn video up and acknowledging that I did it wrong? Anyway, I get a laugh out of this stuff. It's just, I mean, on some level it is annoying because I'm like, am I talking to like an autistic guy? Am I talking to someone who's just genuinely stupid? In which case, what's the point of me arguing with them? Because I do have this compulsion when people say dumb shit. Well, why do you think that? Well, and they just start yelling, repeating it. And they just get stuck in this dumb loop. And I'm like, I'm not even disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to figure out what is your intent here? Like, what is your end game? What are you trying to accomplish? I put out a video saying my collection is not really what it should have been. I went down the wrong path. Here's the reasons why. I fell into this trap. I didn't think this through. I let myself be impulsive and not have a plan. And the result is I'm not really happy with my collection. I feel like it could have been a lot better for what I spent. That's an admission of me being a goober. So by you coming in and telling me all the things that I just told you, like, what Well, it sucks. Yeah, I get that. I didn't use the word suck, but clearly it's not what I want it to be or what it should be, so we're in agreement. Well, you just needed to, I just had to tell you that. Why? Why did you just have to tell me what I just told you? Like, obviously I know that already, or I wouldn't have made the fucking video, dummy. Anyway. And then, yeah, the other guy's like, man, I don't like the way you shot the video and the blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I don't have a movie studio. I don't have 1 million subscribers. I don't have people doing edits and proper lighting and all that stuff. It's not my full-time gig. It's just a side thing that I do for fun. See where it'll go. It's just how it works. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, maybe this guy's a content creator. Let me go on their page and let me see what they've got and see what he's talking about. Maybe his frame of reference is, you know, such that, hey, there's a way to do it on a budget that's less work than maybe me, I think. And maybe I'll go, oh, you know what, I probably could do that. Maybe if I just got a backlight and did this. And so I invariably will go to their page to say, okay, where is this person's point of reference? And invariably they have 1 subscriber and no content, or 1 video of them playing a video game. And I'm like, okay, this is the expert. This is the, okay, Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, okay. You're giving me all the critique and how it just sucks and this and that. So I go to say, okay, well, how do you do it? Well, I don't do it. I don't have any content. I have nothing to say. Okay, then you're just an internet troll and you're being a weenie. Which, fine, whatever, but I just wish people would have a point. There should be a point to a debate. If you just want to yell back at me what I just told you, that serves no purpose. So I'm like, why are you wasting your and my time? If you got a point to make and you're trying to get me to change my opinion, and you want to tell me why I'm wrong, and hey, did you read this report? Because those numbers are updated and they changed and that's no longer the case. Oh. All right, well, I didn't realize that. You know, that's how you win a debate. Calling names and just shouting louder than the other person is not. That's what a child does. Which makes me wonder about some people. Like, am I dealing with someone that doesn't have a full deck? Am I dealing with someone on the spectrum? I don't say that to be insulting, although it can certainly come across that way. I say it because I actually wonder. There's a lot of people out there with autism and Asperger's and things like that, and they are socially awkward, and their communication skills are shit. And it's not actually their fault. They don't have a good way to express themselves. They just kind of and regurgitate something. They just kind of lash out, and they don't have that self-awareness of what they're saying and how to articulate something in a way that comes across the way that they want it to come across. I'm sure I've dealt with people like that. So I'll press them on that, ask them questions. You get on this rabbit hole, and after a while I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to block you from the channel. like I don't care. There's plenty of people that disagree with me all the time that don't get blocked. If you're just here to yell and scream and be a crybaby and make no sense, and you're literally just trolling to try to be disruptive, I don't have time for that. You've already taken up enough of my time. So there's this week's viewer hate mail. Let's see, another interesting topic. Oh, you know what? For all the people that crying about the R9 and, oh, the Ducati's got less power, the new V2 and all this stuff. It's not a replacement for the R6, man. The R6 is bad. Well, guess what? Road Atlanta, Moto America Pro Races this weekend. Yeah, the Super Sport class, the new R9, which is early in its development. It's only been out there for a few months. Yeah, it just broke the 8-year Super Sport lap record that had been held for 8 years by Garrett Gerloff on an R6. I think it was an R6. Won't even hear Jonathan's bike. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Yeah. So, yeah, the R9 is shaping. I think the R9, the Yamaha R9, is going to be the motorcycle of the year. It's just the right size, amount of power. It's the amount right of weight, the right amount of weight. It's going to be good handling. The electronics package, the brakes, the suspension, everything is right in that sweet spot, right down the middle from your normal super sports, but not as crazy as a leader bike like this. It's right down the middle. It's the perfect, less than 13,000, and you got Brembos and good suspension, state-of-the-art electronics taken over from the R1. It's a fantastic bike, and I've been saying that. Everyone just says, oh, it's got the MT-09 motor. Oh, 114 horsepower. Oh, it's going to suck. The R6 is so much faster. Apparently it's not, because the R9 has been winning in World Superbike. Now you're seeing it setting lap records in Moto America. The R6 had been out for years, many years, in its current form. It had a couple small revisions, but that chassis and everything, I think, came out in 2006 or 7, something like that. It's been out there for damn near 2 decades. That's a lot of refinement and fine-tuning to get it to where it is. And the R9 is the new kid on the block using an MT-09 motor. Just beat it with less horsepower. And that's not on a tight little twisty track. You know, if you're at Talladega, you could say, well, that's a small track. There's no place to really stretch the R6's legs, and having that extra torque of the big 3-cylinder motor helps it drive off corners. So yeah, in that instance, yeah, that should be faster than the R6. That's not what's happening here. This is on Road Atlanta. That is a 2.5-mile road course with a pretty long front straight and a really long back straight that favors big horsepower. Yeah, it's got some tight changes, elevation changes, and some other stuff. Chicanes. It really puts the rider and the bike to the test. But that R9 on a big fast track like that, not barely beat it, but right out of the gate just beat an 8-year record for the R6 that everyone claimed the R9 will never replace. The R6 is so much better and faster. This is stupid. It's a downgrade. Apparently not if you actually know how to ride and you're in a race environment. So that was cool to see. And we got just over here. We got Jonathan on his new bike. So he picked up a 2025. He had his Triumph 765 RS, which a few weeks ago, I guess maybe a month or 2 ago, we went down to Mystic Grill, came home, back to my house, and there was, his oil light kept coming on. So I'm like, hey, you know, it's been a while, let's drain the oil and change it. I got a filter here you can have. And we pulled out less than a liter of oil. I was like, it was black. I'm like, holy shit, your oil's burned and there's almost none of it in there. So I'm like, I wonder if he's got scored bearings, you know, the journal bearings for the crank and stuff. I'm like, dude, I would trade this bike in right now. Put new oil in it. We don't know where it went, but it was down like 2, because I think it's supposed to hold like 3 or 3.7, and it had less than 1. I'm like, it was way low on oil. I'm like, dude, use your ABS, Johnny. The brakes work. The brakes work. The brakes. They work. Yeah. So, then the other thing came. We were replacing the... Cameron wants to race. And he'll probably beat me here anyway. We gotta get up to insane speeds before I can really pull past him. I'll make like I'm gonna race and I'll just let him take off. He's like, where is he? Haha. Psych. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so anyway, so that was kind of the first strike against the bike. So he's been thinking about replacing it and all that kind of stuff. And he needed new tires. So we did our War Woman Road ride last weekend. Went up to North Carolina to Highlands for lunch. Lovely, lovely road. Really good time. And I'm like, we get back, he sends me a picture, his back tires got the belt showing. I'm like, dude. He's like, well, I had tires when I left the house. When I got home, there's nothing. So he's out to go get new tires. So he goes and gets new tires on the bike on Thursday? No, Friday. Yeah, Friday. Same day I got tires. And I go over there and he can't get the back wheel on. And I'm like, all right, I'll come over and help you, because the street triple RS, the way they put the caliper, the tolerances, everything's so goddamn tight. I'm like, it is a real pain. So I was like, yeah, I'll come over and help. Figuring, all right, let's just knock this out and we'll go grab a sandwich or something. Yeah, an hour and 20 minutes of cursing later, I'm like, we have to just take a break and go to eat. It was such a monumental pain in the way they put that thing together. You know, my Street Fighter V2, well, that was single-sided swing arm. So a lot of other bikes like Donna's has the caliper on the bottom. So the tire just kind of drops down into the caliper, or the caliper, and you lift it up out of it, unhook the chain, and walk away. It's easy. Not that bike. It's got spacers on both sides of the wheel that go in between the brake caliper, which is not hard mounted to the swing arm, moves around a lot. Falls out. The way the pads are, the pads fall out if you jiggle it at all. Then you got to take it off and put them back in, right? If you even look at the wheel spacers, they fall out. They don't stick into the wheels all that well. And when you're putting everything together, I'm not joking when I say you have 0.5 millimeter of wiggle room. When all the spacers and everything are in there and you get the wheel in there, there is like almost no perceivable gap. There's no wiggle room between the left swing arm, left side of the swing arm, the first spacer going through the wheel to the other spacer to the brake caliper mount to the other side of the swing arm, and then the axle has to go through all of that. There is no air gap between those. So when you put that wheel in, you have to first of all lift it up into the caliper. But you have to hold the caliper and the pads to make sure they stay open and don't fall out so that the rotor can go up into them. And you have to do all that without anything touching the spacers. Because if anything touches the spacers, it knocks the spacers out. You got to put the wheel down, start over. While you're trying to do all that and get the chain over the sprocket, with two of us, and I used to own that bike. I've owned two of them. But we just could not get that shit working. We went to dinner, had a little bit of bourbon, came back and put the damn thing, finally got it together, and I'm like, dude, sell this fucking bike this weekend. And he's like, yeah, that's strike two. I'm like, at some point I think your engine's gonna blow up from being starved of oil. Could be tomorrow, could be a year from now, but you don't want to be like Jim where you're doing a warm-up lap on track. That thing just go, and all of a sudden you throw a rod through the bottom of the block and you got oil everywhere, and then you got to spend $5,000 to get a new motor. I was like, get rid of it now. So yeah, so went over to Mountain Motorsports. Normally I deal with Niles over there. He's on vacation, so I dealt with his son and just told him, you know, we need a good deal on this. I'm not paying, well, my friend's not paying the crazy dealer fees and all that other shit. I was like, you need to cut that in half and give us a good trade. We want a little bit more than what's owed on the bike, so he's got no negative equity. And they worked out the deal and got him the payment he wanted, got everything. Took some money off. He got the tax, because he got more in the trade, you get the sales tax benefit. So they gave him $7,000 on the trade for a 2022, and then he got whatever the sales tax on that, 6.5%. takes off against the sales tax that he paid on the new bike, which was only $12,300. So he got that new color scheme, which I actually think is really cool. It's a metallic matte silver with glossy black and then blue accents. Very, very clean, very, very nice. And he got the ABS model, and hell of a bargain. He was thinking about the 1000s, but I'm like, you go price out a new 1000. With all the dealer fees, tag, title, sales tax, you're looking at $21,000 to $22,000 out the door for a leader bike. Or that was $14,400. I'm like, that's $7,000 difference. And riding around like this, it doesn't matter. 600's plenty fast. You go up in the mountains in the twisties, his bike ain't any fast. Or my bike here, despite making almost double the power, ain't gonna be any faster. You might even be faster on that bike because you're not fighting the bike. It's not trying to kick you off constantly. It's lighter, it's more agile. Yeah, I got better suspension, brakes, and suspension. What did I say? Better brakes, electronics, and suspension. Whatever. There's probably another blooper. Oh no, someone's going to tell me that I can't make video because I said the wrong thing. Dear Dave's Man Cave, I can't believe you lack the journalistic integrity to say... Shut up. Go make your own channel. You're the comic book store guy from the fucking Simpsons. I don't care. Just go away. You're harshing my chill, bro. What was the one comment he said? No, man, you're the antisocial one because your watch collection was... What did he say? Something about all those low-end watches. Because, yeah, Longines, I mean, I got 20 grand in watches, but a lot of them are in the $400 to $600 range. But I got a couple that are above 1,000. But it's like, yeah, no wonder, with watches like that, you wouldn't have... That's why you don't have any friends. Like, what? Like, this is his compelling argument. This is his contribution. I'm thinking, well, do I really want friends that are only friends based on how much I spent on a watch? Like, is that what we're going for here? Is that the new standard? What is your point? What are you trying to say? It's like you're just throwing dumb shit out there. Anyway, that bike's going to be a little ripper. He's already ordered the exhaust, got to put an M4 slip on, BMC street filter, tail tidy, have Chris Moore do the ECU flash, and frame sliders, all that shit. Only thing is the frame sliders doubled in price because I think because that new bike has the body work like this. So in order to have no cut frame sliders, there's an extra piece that has to be machined from billet and stuff, so they're charging extra. So instead of $70, it's like $150. But everything else is pretty damn cheap. It's a Kawasaki. It's a 636. It'll run forever. It's a very, very bulletproof motor. And it looks really, really nice. So anyway, that's what's going on the channel and stuff this week. Just angry little men on the internet that don't know how to debate and don't know how to read the title of something, but they sure do feel fired up and righteous. Okay, whatever, dude. Enjoy your trolling, I guess. I got better shit to do, like hanging out with me mates, going down to Madison, grabbing some grub, and getting some break-in miles on Jonathan's new wheels. We're not doing a hard break or a lengthy break-in. Oh, you can't go over 6,000 RPM for 6 months or whatever, 600 miles. Not true. Hadn't been true in 30 years. Just ride the goddamn bike. People put way too much thought into break-in and stuff like that. It's like, do you understand how good the tolerance is in machining and metallurgy and all this stuff is in modern Japanese manufacturing? Go ride the thing, maybe pussy it a little bit for 40, 50 miles. in the time of you going 50 miles is not a short distance. Your pistons have gone up and down at least 1 million times. Increase the pace a little bit, get the revs up, get some heat cycles in, but play from 50 to 100. Once you're at 100, I do an oil change, filter change, get the brake-in oil, any little bits of crud that got missed during the manufacturing process, get that shit out, replace it with a good synthetic oil, new filter, and just go out and fucking rip on it. It'll be fine. Well, you gotta worry about all the metal on metal surfaces, mating and polishing. Dude, if you got metal on metal other than the rings and stuff, like, you don't need that. Like, the rings are the most important thing with a new bike. You want those rings to hone in early, and you want them to earn in wear in properly, which means under pressure, heat cycles, not just acceleration, but you want to use deceleration, engine braking. You want the pressure to be pushing the rings in both directions into the cylinder wall. The sooner that happens, the better. Gives you a really good seal. It gives you good compression. Good compression means good power. Good compression means less of the byproducts of combustion, hot gases, all that kind of stuff, blowing past those rings into carbon and stuff blowing into your damn oil. You don't want it to go past the rings. You want to keep it, all the exhaust and everything going out the exhaust valve. You don't want any of that blowing into your air, into your crankcase. So the days of, if you're a new rider and you just went and bought that bike, I would absolutely follow the break-in procedure to the letter. Not because of the bike, because of you. You're a new rider. You don't need to be ripping on that. Yeah, it's only a 600. It ain't a liter bike. It's still a 155, 160 mile an hour bike. It'll kill you in a heartbeat if you smash into something or you're an idiot. You have to respect it. And so taking your time and taking it slow and going through the ropes and all that stuff. The break-in process there is, in that case, more for you than the bike. The bike doesn't need it. Kawasaki takes every sport bike motor that they build. So Kawasaki does what's called a just-in-time inventory system. Everything's within 72 hours. They don't want to be short on stock, but they don't want to be overstocked. They want to keep just enough to always have 72 hours of stuff on hand to build bikes. And so they're putting together a welding chassis, doing all that while they're making the motors. And, that motor could have been assembled on a Monday, and that motor's being plopped into a bike by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest. And then they're running it on the dyno up to redline to make sure that that bike is performing, and they're recording the dyno output, the emissions, horsepower, torque, all that stuff, running diagnostics on that motor up to redline to make sure it was built right, because if it's 10 horsepower less, there's a problem with that motor, and they're not going to send it out. They record all that to all the VINs to make sure it is at the minimum levels of emissions and power output and all that stuff. And if they see a problem, they pull it. So they're taking a bike and a motor that the gaskets just cured yesterday, and they're putting it on a dyno and running it up to redline. Now, they're not doing it for an extended period of time, so don't be a complete numpty with your new bike and bounce it off the rev limiter coming out of the dealer parking lot. Use some common sense. But this idea, I've got to be a baby and I gotta take it easy. I can't go over 6,000 RPMs for months until I hit 600. Just stop. Just ride your bike. Once you're over 100, 125, just rip on it. Change the oil if it makes you feel better. Make sure you got good, clean oil. Get any little bits of metal from the wear-in process. Get that out of there. But 100 miles on a bike, your pistons have gone up and down in the millions. I mean, these things are a blur right now. How long do you really think it takes to hone in rings? It doesn't take hundreds of miles. Alright, anyway. I'm still, I had pneumonia last month, so I'm finding that if I talk for too long, my throat gets all scratchy and my voice starts to give out. Some of you are like, yay, good, shut up. That's what I'm gonna do. That's today's vlog. We're not gonna have any fun, exciting roads around here, so there's not much point watching us ride. Unless Jonathan lets me ride his bike later. And maybe I'll do a little mini review and see if the 2025 feels any better than the 2020 that I owned. But barring that, have a good week. Don't let internet idiots get you down. Fight the power. We'll talk to you guys later. If I can feel the damn button here with